Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk English Today, the podcast where we inspire and guide you to speak English confidently and fluently. I'm Alex, your host, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Aria. How are you today, Aria?
Hi, Alex. I'm doing great, thank you, and hello to all our amazing listeners. Whether you're just starting your English journey or looking to improve, this podcast is here for you.
Today's episode is special. We'll be sharing our personal English learning journeys, how we started with just hello and worked our way toward fluency. It's a story filled with challenges, lessons, and success.
That's right. We'll also share some practical tips and advice that you can use in your own English learning journey. So, stay tuned, everyone.
Learning English is like a journey. It starts with small steps, like saying hello, and grows into something much bigger. Over time, you expand your vocabulary, improve your grammar, and gain the confidence to speak fluently. But every journey has its ups and downs.
That's so true, Alex. I remember how excited I was when I first learned to introduce myself in English. It felt like a huge achievement, even though it was just a few words. Fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of building your skills one step at a time.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about today. Aria and I will share our own English learning stories, the moments that made us smile, the challenges that made us pause, and the strategies that kept us moving forward.
Yes, and we'll also talk about the mistakes we made. Mistakes are such an important part of learning. I used to be so afraid of saying something wrong, but over time, I realized that every mistake taught me something new.
I agree. I remember struggling with pronunciation. It took me a while to say words like comfortable or vegetable correctly, but practice made a big difference. So if you're struggling with English right now, don't worry. You're not alone. Everyone faces challenges.
And the good news is there are so many ways to overcome those challenges. We'll share some of the methods that worked for us, like finding a practice partner, listening to English every day, and even watching movies with subtitles.
Right. And we'll also give you some actionable tips you can start using today. These are simple strategies that can make a big difference over time.
So, whether you're just starting out or trying to move to the next level, stay with us. This episode is all about learning from our experiences and helping you make your own English journey successful.
Let's dive in. I'll start with my story. I remember my very first English word. It was hello. I felt so proud saying it out loud, but at the same time, I realized how much more I needed to learn. It felt like standing at the bottom of a huge mountain, looking up.
That's so relatable, Alex. For me, my first English sentence was, "How are you?" I practiced it so many times before I got it right. At first, I thought learning English would be impossible. The grammar, the vocabulary, it all felt overwhelming.
Same here. I remember when I started learning, I used to memorize a lot of words, but I didn't know how to use them in a sentence. It was frustrating. And then, when it came to speaking in front of others, I would freeze up because I was so nervous about making mistakes.
Oh, I know that feeling. I used to overthink everything. Before I said anything, I would translate the sentence in my head from my native language to English. But by the time I finished, the conversation had already moved on.
Yes, that's such a common experience. I think we all start there, focusing on translating instead of just speaking. For me, things started to change when I realized that communication was more important than perfection. I stopped worrying about having the perfect grammar and just tried to express myself.
That's such an important point. I remember when I started watching English movies and listening to English songs. At first, I couldn't understand much, but I kept going. Over time, I started recognizing words and phrases. It made me feel more comfortable with the language.
That's a great tip. I used to listen to podcasts and audio lessons while commuting. Even if I didn't understand every word, it helped me get used to the rhythm and sounds of English.
Exactly. And I think it's important to find things you enjoy. For me, it was music. I'd listen to my favorite English songs and look up the lyrics. Singing along helped me practice pronunciation and learn new words without feeling like I was studying.
That's such a fun way to learn. For me, one of the turning points was finding a speaking partner. A friend and I made a deal to speak only in English for an hour every day. It was awkward at first, but it really boosted my confidence.
Speaking partners are such a great idea. I didn't have anyone to practice with at first, so I started talking to myself in English. I'd describe my day or imagine conversations in my head. It might sound funny, but it really helped me get comfortable with speaking.
That's a fantastic tip, Arya. I think another challenge I faced was learning to think in English. At first, my thoughts were always in my native language, and I'd have to translate everything. But once I started practicing thinking in English, it became easier to form sentences on the spot.
Yes, thinking in English is such a game changer. I remember when I started dreaming in English for the first time. It felt like I had reached a new level. It's one of those moments that remind you how far you've come.
Absolutely, and let's not forget about the mistakes. I've made so many. Like the time I confused dessert with desert and asked for a desert at a restaurant.
Oh no, that's funny. I once said kitchen instead of chicken at a dinner party, but honestly, those mistakes are what make learning memorable. They're embarrassing in the moment, but they help you grow.
Exactly. I've learned that mistakes are a natural part of the process. The important thing is to keep going and not let fear hold you back.
That's so true. I always tell learners to celebrate their progress, no matter how small it seems. Every new word, every sentence you say, is a step closer to fluency.
And that's why we're sharing these stories, because we've been there, and we want you to know that you can do it too. No matter where you are in your English journey, keep going. It's worth it.
Absolutely. And now, let's dive into some of the challenges learners face today and how to overcome them. One of the biggest challenges for English learners is building confidence. Many people are afraid to speak because they don't want to make mistakes. I've seen this happen so many times, and I've been there myself.
Absolutely. I used to feel the same way. But here's the thing. Making mistakes is actually a good thing. Every time you make a mistake, you're learning something new. It's like a step forward, not a step back.
That's such an important point, Alex. Another challenge is vocabulary. Have you ever been in a situation where you want to express something, but you just don't know the right words? It can be so frustrating.
All the time. And I think many learners feel stuck when this happens. They have the idea in their head, but they can't put it into words. It's like having a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit.
Exactly. And then there's grammar. Grammar can be tricky. A lot of learners get so focused on making their sentences perfect that they hesitate to speak at all.
Yes, and that hesitation can slow you down. But here's something I've learned. Fluency isn't about having perfect grammar. It's about communicating your thoughts clearly and being understood.
That's such an important mindset shift. Speaking fluently doesn't mean every sentence will be perfect. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes sometimes.
That's true. Another challenge I've noticed is pronunciation. Many learners are worried they won't sound like a native speaker, so they avoid speaking altogether.
Right. And the fear of sounding wrong can really hold people back. But the goal isn't to sound perfect, it's to be understood. Clear pronunciation is important, but accents are natural and they're part of who you are.
Exactly. I always tell learners, your accent is part of your identity. Don't be ashamed of it. Focus on being clear, not flawless.
Another challenge is consistency. Many people start learning English with a lot of energy, but after a few weeks or months, they lose motivation or get too busy to practice.
That's a big one. Learning a language takes time and regular practice. It's like exercising. If you go to the gym once a month, you won't see much progress. But if you go a little every day, you'll notice a big difference over time.
Yes, consistency is key. Even if you only have 10 minutes a day, use that time to listen to English, read something, or practice speaking. Small steps add up.
And let's not forget about listening. Many learners focus on speaking and writing, but listening is just as important. It helps you get used to the sounds and rhythm of the language.
That's so true, and it's also one of the easiest ways to learn. You can listen to podcasts, watch videos, or even just play English audio in the background while doing other things.
Another challenge is understanding different accents. English is spoken all over the world, and accents can vary a lot. Some learners feel discouraged when they can't understand a particular accent.
Yes, that can be tough. But the more you expose yourself to different accents, the easier it gets. Start with one accent you're comfortable with and then gradually listen to others.
That's great advice, Arya. One final challenge I want to mention is comparison. Many learners compare themselves to others and feel like they're not good enough.
Yes, and that's such a trap. Everyone's journey is different. Some people learn faster and some take more time. The important thing is to focus on your own progress, not someone else's.
Exactly. Learning English is a personal journey. Celebrate your small wins, like learning a new word or understanding a sentence you couldn't before.
And remember, you're not alone. Every English learner faces these challenges, but with the right mindset and tools, you can overcome them.
That's a great reminder, Arya. Now, let's move on to some tips that can help our listeners tackle these challenges and improve their English.
Fluency is a big goal, but it's all about taking small, consistent steps. So, let's dive into some practical tips to help you get there. Tip 1. Start small. Use simple sentences like, I like coffee or this is my book. Focus on expressing yourself clearly, even with basic words. It's all about building your confidence step by step.
That's a great start, Arya. Tip 2. Practice every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Consistency is key. Think about it. 10 minutes a day adds up to over an hour of practice each week. You don't have to do something big every day. Even listening to a short English podcast or reviewing a few new words can make a difference.
Exactly. And here's tip 3. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Instead of worrying about being perfect, focus on communicating. Think of every mistake as a chance to learn and improve. Remember, no one became fluent without making mistakes.
That's so true, Arya. I still make mistakes sometimes, and I've been speaking English for years. Now, tip 4, listen to English every day. Whether it's a podcast, your favorite songs, or even short videos, listening helps you understand how words are used in real conversations. And it improves your pronunciation, too.
I agree, Alex. And here's something that worked for me. Tip 5. Try to think in English. For example, when you're walking outside, look at things around you and describe them in English in your mind. Say things like, the sky is blue or that car is red. It's a great way to train your brain to use English naturally.
That's a fun exercise, and it really helps you get used to forming sentences quickly. Tip 6. Find a practice buddy or join a group. Conversations are the best way to improve fluency. You can learn a lot from talking with others, even if they're not native speakers. If you don't have a partner, apps like language exchange platforms can connect you with people who want to practice too.
That's such a good point. Practicing with others also helps you get comfortable with different accents and speaking styles. And here's tip 7. Use English in your daily life. Label things around your home in English, write a grocery list in English, or even set your phone's language to English. Small changes like these can make a big impact.
I love that idea, Arya. And here's tip 8. Read out loud. When you read something in English, say it aloud. This helps with pronunciation, speaking confidence, and even your listening skills because you hear yourself say the words.
Absolutely. And speaking of listening, here's tip 9. Shadow native speakers. This means listening to a sentence and repeating it exactly as you hear it. Focus on the pronunciation, rhythm, and tone. It's like practicing with a coach, but you're doing it on your own.
That's such a powerful tip. Shadowing helped me a lot when I was learning English. And here's tip 10. Celebrate your progress. Learning a language takes time, so it's important to notice and celebrate your small wins. Maybe you learned 5 new words this week or had a short conversation in English. That's progress, and it's worth celebrating.
Yes, celebrating progress keeps you motivated. And let me add one more. Tip 11. Immerse yourself as much as possible. If you can, watch movies without subtitles. Listen to English radio stations. Or follow English-speaking influencers on social media. Surrounding yourself with the language makes learning feel natural.
Great tip, Aria. And finally, tip 12. Be patient with yourself. Fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, and every step forward is progress. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep going.
Exactly. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep improving. And the best part? You're already on the right track by listening to this podcast.
That's right, Aria. With these tips, our listeners are well equipped to make steady progress in their English learning journey. Keep practicing and don't give up.
Now, let's move on to the next part of the episode, where we'll answer some common questions from our listeners.
Now, let's show our listeners how practice can work in real life. Aria, how about we do a quick role play? Let's pretend we're meeting for the first time at a coffee shop.
Sounds great. I'll start. Hi, my name is Aria. What's your name?
Hi, Aria. I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Alex. Do you come to this coffee shop often?
Yes, I do. I love their cappuccino. How about you?
This is my first time here, actually. I usually go to a smaller cafe near my house.
Oh, that sounds nice. What's your favorite drink there?
I usually get a latte, but today I'm trying something new, an iced mocha. Do you like iced drinks?
Sometimes, especially in the summer, but I usually prefer hot drinks. By the way, where are you from, Aria?
I'm from the UK, and you?
I'm from Canada. So, Aria, what do you do for work?
I'm an English teacher. How about you?
I'm a student and I'm learning English. It's not easy, but I'm working hard.
That's great, Alex. If you ever need help, feel free to ask me.
Thank you so much, Aria. That's really kind of you.
See, listeners? Role plays like this are a great way to practice. You can do them with a friend, a teacher, or even by yourself. Just pick a topic and start a conversation.
Exactly. And the best part? You can adjust the difficulty based on your level. Start with simple sentences and add more details as you get more confident.
Now, let's challenge our listeners. Think of a scenario, like meeting someone at a park or asking for directions, and try creating your own role play. It's fun and so helpful.
Great idea, Aria. And remember, don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on practicing. Now let's move on to answer some listener questions.
Now it's your turn. We want to challenge you to try one of the tips we shared today. Maybe practice self-talk for 5 minutes, or try thinking in English about your day. It's a simple way to start building fluency.
Absolutely. And after you've tried it, let us know how it goes. Share your experience with us in the comments section or reach out to us on social media. We love hearing from you.
We really do. If you're feeling unsure or need more advice, don't hesitate to send us a message. We're here to help you every step of the way.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. That way, you won't miss any new episodes packed with helpful tips. Plus, if you found today's episode useful, share it with your friends. You can help others in their language learning journey.
Exactly. The more the merrier. We want to reach as many learners as we can and create a supportive community where we all help each other improve.
Plus, we've got plenty of other episodes waiting for you. From tips on listening and speaking to fun exercises, we've got it all covered. So, check out our other episodes and keep practicing.
And remember, learning English is a process, not something that happens overnight. It's about making progress, bit by bit.
That's right. So, take the challenge, share your journey with us, and keep working on those small steps every day. You're doing great.
Thanks again for listening. We can't wait to hear how you're practicing English in your daily life.
That's it for today's episode. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and we'll see you next time on Talk English Today.
Bye, everyone. And remember, every day is a new chance to improve.
All right, that's it for today's episode. Just remember, fluency is a journey. It's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about taking small steps, celebrating your progress, and enjoying the process.
Yes, exactly. Every little improvement is worth celebrating. Don't be too hard on yourself. Learning a new language is hard, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
Thanks for tuning in to Talk English Today. We appreciate all of you who joined us today, and we'll see you again in the next episode.
Keep practicing, stay motivated, and don't forget to have fun with it. See you next time.
Bye, everyone!